Welcome to the webinar on automating cloud security on Rackspace. My name is Russ Schaefer from Raxak, the leader in cross-cloud cloud security compliance, and also the Gartner Cool Vendor Award winner in IT automation for 2016. Today I'm going to cover cloud trends and solutions, the Raxak Protect Security Compliance platform, and how that protects your workloads on Rackspace, and summarize. Well, let's look at what's happening in the cloud and what kind of security solutions are available today. Businesses are obviously attracted by the on-demand resources available in the cloud. They have flexibility and cost advantages versus on-prem solutions. The challenge has been security management. Businesses really want to leverage the flexibility to reduce their CapEx and OpEx, but need to also maintain their security compliance requirements. The cost and complexity of security compliance is inhibiting their movement to the cloud. They need to protect their data, including consumer data, financial data, and intellectual property, while maintaining compliance with both industry and government security standards like PCI DSS, HIPAA, FFIEC, and FISMA. Today's on-premise IT security solutions don't scale to the cloud. And a lot of companies are still using manual security compliance approaches, which are slow, error-prone, and really impact your ability to innovate. Our studies have shown that the cost of managed security compliance can be 40 to 60% of your overall cloud management costs. So enterprises really need an automated compliance solution that prevents security failures by removing all vulnerabilities and provides a cost-effective way to automate your compliance requirements. This enables you to leverage the cloud. Let's look at a typical use case of a company like yours. In this case, we're looking at a company in financial services. This is a medium-sized insurance company. The CIO has multiple lines of business to support for both IT requirements and compliance requirements. The line of businesses are being pressured by the competitors who are developing in the cloud and are moving quickly to add new innovative features that their customers want. The CIO is being pressured to provide very on-demand quick IT resources, and currently the line of business views them as being too expensive and too slow. Because of this, they started developing in the cloud and using the public cloud in a way that's most likely unsecure. Because developers in this kind of situation, because IT is not managing it, are responsible for securing the public cloud. Unlike on-premise where the CIO has a standard security approach, a profile, and practices, if the developers are going on their own to the public cloud, it's really their responsibility. Regardless of which public cloud you pick, in this case we're going to talk about Rackspace, but it could be Amazon, Microsoft, IBM, Google, it doesn't really matter. It's always the responsibility of the enterprise to provide their own security on top of any infrastructure as a service provided cloud system, because they really don't know exactly what your security requirements are. So they provide a generic system, and we'll show you how insecure that really is, because they require you to basically customize the security policy to meet the needs of your particular business. The same situation is here. The developers is dependent on their own understanding of security, which is probably not up to date, and they need to secure their systems in the public cloud, which can lead to a tremendous amount of vulnerability to hacks from outside providers. The CEO is holding the CIO responsible regardless of the fact that the line of business is the one actually setting up their own IT operations in the public cloud because they have the budget, but still the CIO is responsible for it. So how do they fix this problem? Well, the key is using automation. So they need an automated cloud security platform that applies a consistent security policy automatically, regardless of who's developing it, both on-premise and in the cloud. So now the CISO or the Chief Information Security Officer or any kind of VP security is going to be happy because the policy that the board has agreed to, that the company's agreed to, that meets industry standards, that maintains compliance is being applied no matter what the IT resource is that's being used. The CEO is happy because now they can actually respond quickly and protect their IT operations while leveraging the capabilities of the public cloud. So Cloud Raxak automates and simplifies security compliance across all clouds, including Rackspace, which is what we're going to discuss today. This enables a IT department or a CIO, in the use case I just presented to you, to basically apply a uniform security policy across traditional IT, private clouds like VMware, OpenStack, and HP Helium, and all public clouds, Rackspace, Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, IBM Cloud, you take your pick. The platform is available as an agentless SaaS, or security software as a service, and as an on-premise appliance. So in the case of customers like Visa, who's a client of ours, they require their security to be on site, inside their data center with no outside access. We can provide that kind of solution so you can apply in really any traditional IT environment. The server protection covers both Windows and Linux workloads. Again, I mentioned earlier, VMware, OpenStack, and containers. As I mentioned earlier, Cloud Raxak was selected as a Gartner Cool Vendor in IT automation, and our partners include IBM, Google, HP, and Intel. What kind of benefits does this platform provide to you? It really enables your enterprise to securely move to the cloud and utilize a uniform security policy regardless of where your IT resources are being deployed. This enables you to reduce both CapEx and OpEx because you can deploy the workloads wherever it's most cost efficient by using a same security policy. This lowers your OpEx costs by decreasing your security compliance costs 40 to 60%. How do we do that? We automate 95% of the security settings, decreasing your errors and the time spent maintaining your security compliance. This can reduce, again, your security compliance costs 40 to 60%. Not only does it reduce your costs and enables you the flexibility to deploy your workloads wherever you see fit, it also reduces your security risk because you're using automation and a service that provides you the latest security standards, such as the DISA or Defense Information System Agency Mission Critical Profile, which is the most stringent security profile you can apply to a virtual machine that's up to date and available to you as needed. This enables you to provide the latest security and the most broad security in an automated fashion. So anybody, whether it's your auditors who come check you on a quarterly basis, or your board, or your senior management wants to see what's the latest information on your security status, you can provide that on demand. The system automatically, every day, every hour, whatever is needed, checks your security policy, makes sure it is enforced, automatically changes and remediates any errors that might be occurring to make sure your virtual machines are all in compliance. This removes all your vulnerabilities to security hacks and reduces your security risk. In addition, you actually enable your DevOps or your development organization to move as fast as possible to meet the needs of your customers, because now you don't have the slowdown that normally occurs with manual security compliance. Now you can move at the speed of the cloud by using an automated security compliance service. So let's look in more detail at how this platform works. On the left-hand side of this diagram, you'll see the security standards and best practices. Those are brought to you out of the box by Cloud Raxak. So you get the best available standards up to date to whatever's required by each industry, such as the payment card industry digital security standard. It's available in configuration form, can be applied to your environment. So we take that profile, customized by you to the needs of your specific organization or to the latest standards required by your industry, whether it's retail, healthcare, finance, no matter what industry you're in, the security profile should be customized to what's required. Then we enroll the assets automatically. Because it's all automated, the security policy is immediately tagged to that particular virtual machine when it's created, and it's monitored 24/7 until it's actually decommissioned. In each situation, we always check the status of the virtual machine. As I mentioned earlier, off-the-shelf VMs are not in compliant status. It's up to you to maintain your own security. We'll check that security, remediate the system towards in compliance with whatever standards you apply, and then track that over time. So by enforcing the profile throughout the development process, you stay in compliance as drift occurs, which means Developers make changes, things change, so you automatically are protected because it's checked on a regular basis. It could be every hour, every day, whatever is needed by your company. Then we enable you, as I mentioned earlier, provide on-demand reporting to your auditors, to your board, whoever needs a status update on how your security is set up and what kind of compliance standards are in place. And we do this across traditional IT in the data center, in a private cloud, like a VMware private cloud or OpenStack, and then public clouds, like we're going to talk about in more detail on Rackspace. So let's take a look at the perspective of both the developer and the user and how this service is implemented. On the left-hand side, you'll see both groups. In the middle here, you'll see how they actually access creating a virtual machine. In a lot of IT organizations, there's a service catalog, which means basically a pre-set up set of virtual machines that can be used by the business units. So they just select the service, get their application up and running, and start development, and then deploy it. Developers, same thing. They actually have a preset of machines they can set up. You automatically apply a security policy, and then they're up and running. In the middle here is actually how that policy is applied. So this is our called Raxak Protect Security Compliance platform. This applies the latest security profiles that are available, of course, customized by your company. And then we deploy those assets once the policy is applied to any virtual environment, such as a public cloud, private cloud, or if you need traditional IT. Our system is all API driven, so it can be integrated into any IT management system, whether it be trouble ticket management, IT operations. All you have to do is make a call, and any kind of analytics that are available within the Raxak Protect platform are available to your IT systems. So let's take a look at how this works. So as I mentioned earlier, here is a set of pre-configured profiles by the CISO or any kind of security policy represented within your company, whoever creates the security policy. And now the IT department has created some standard builds. Here we've got a Rackspace virtual machine with PCI DSS applied. Second one is the DISA Mission Critical Classified Profile. Again, that's from the Defense Department, the most stringent profile you can apply. And here's a more flexible profile for developer operations. So again, because this is all automated, you could have the developers operate in a more relaxed environment from a security perspective, still protected, but enable them to move quickly from a development perspective. And then when it gets to production, you can lock it down to whatever security requirement is needed for that particular application. So if it's for healthcare, it would be HIPAA. For retail, it would be payment card industry digital security standard, or just general finance would be FFIEC or government FISMA. So whatever the standard is, it can be applied automatically. So we're automating that process. So here we selected an image. In this case, it's going to be PCI DSS because it's going to be deployed, say, a loyalty card application for a retailer. So now we selected that. Again, the profile is connected, so it's automatically applied. And here, that's the actual end of the end user process. So the end user basically has a list of pre-configured virtual machines, all set up the way they want them to be, with the security policy applied. And now here, we're looking from the systems administrator perspective, what it looks like to manage the virtual machines that are using this automated security policy. So here you see Rackspace has been added here as a virtual machine. Now I can look at that server. And because the whole policy is applied automatically, everything is in check. So there's 165 rules for the payment card industry digital security standard. Those all passed, and there's no failures. Some of the rules are actually applied manually, so some things you need to check and go remediate, such as, do you have a backup? Things that require some kind of manual intervention, but everything else is automated. So that's a typical case for all your users. Now let's look at a different case where you don't have our service. And I'll show you how any standard off-the-shelf VM is not compliant with the security standards, such as the payment card industry digital security standard. So let's take that same virtual machine, not apply automatic remediation to fix it to a specific profile, but actually let it come out standard and see where the differences are. As you'll see, out of the 165 rules, 52 of them failed. So a significant portion. And of course, there's still manual rules that need to be remediated. So let's take a closer look at what rules actually failed. Should it be of concern? And you'll see there's a number of them that are high priority. failures. We'll look at one in particular. So this is the 56025, the maximum number of authentication attempts permitted per connection. It must be set to 4 or less. And in this case, it's not set to 4. It's set to more than 4. So let's look at the actual console log to find out what's going on. So click on the console log. And here you'll see. So the description is that the maximum value of authentication attempts is permitted needs to be either 2, 3, or 4, the maximum being 4. And in this case, it's actually set to 6. So we've got to fix that. So we go back, we click on the remediate button, and then that rule is now successfully remediated. So let's look at the reporting function to make sure that's actually true. So first we'll look again back at managing servers to see if that rule has been changed. There you go. There it is at the top. So successfully remediated, now it's set properly. And before we had 52 rules that failed, now we have 51. And let's look at the on-demand reporting. So you see how you can actually prove that to your auditor. Here we look at the reporting. There's all kinds of different details available on demand. Summary format, executive summary. We're going to look at executive summary, and then a very detailed report that looks at every single rule and tells you exactly its status and why it failed. And here's sort of the executive summary report. And you'll see each one is listed down here in detail and described. And you'll see we actually, again, went from 52 failed rules to 51. Of course, when it's automated, all those are taken care of. But this, again, is just showing an example of what our service does behind the scenes to make sure you're protected against the latest security threats by using the latest security profile. Now we can use with something called a difference report. So the good thing about it, because you can do actual assessments of the vulnerability by running a scan of your system every hour, this actually allows you to show differences within 2 different time periods. In this case, we're also looking at the difference between an automated system, where all the remediation is done automatically, and then a manual system where, in the example I just showed you, you can actually go through each individual rule and remediate it yourself. But this could be 2 different points in time, beginning of the quarter and the end of the quarter. So as your auditor comes in every quarter to check your status, you can provide them a report from the beginning and then the end of the quarter. You'll see basically the comparison here. Obviously the manual remediation, all the errors weren't fixed. The automated remediation, they all were. So you can see the comparison of those 2. So now let's kind of recap what we just discussed. What I showed you was the ability for an automated platform to provide a simplified and automated way to maintain compliance. So Raxak Protect provides you with the latest, greatest security profiles available out of the box for you to use. Those from the Defense Information Systems Agency STIGs, or Strategic Technical Implementation Guidelines, which again, configurations that provide you a mission-critical profile that's the most stringent out there today. HIPAA for healthcare, FIC for finance, and payment card industry digital security standard for retail. Again, other standards available as well, again, customized to your particular needs. You can modify those. Other thing I didn't talk about really was compliance based upon a hard root of trust. So in the case of, we have bare metal machines in both HP Helion and IBM Cloud, you can actually verify exactly where that workload is being run using a verification system that checks the actual server, provides an identification where it's at, and then secures all those workloads based upon that hard root of trust. The second key feature is the ability to automate remediation and monitor on a 24/7 basis. So you can check your system to make sure it's in compliance, automate remediation so it stays in compliance, and then do reporting to show your auditor that you've been in compliance from the beginning of the quarter to the end of the quarter or any point in between. One of the key features, again, is providing a consistent security policy across all clouds. I showed you Rackspace as an example. The same kind of thing is available on Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, IBM Cloud, and Google Cloud, and other cloud systems that are out there today. The key thing about our system is it's scalable and flexible. Whether you're running it on 10 virtual machines or hundreds of thousands of virtual machines, the same capability is available. It's API driven, so it integrates into all of your IT management systems for trouble ticket management, for vulnerability assessment. Anything you're using today can actually pull the analytics from our system to provide a broader picture of your IT landscape. And it's available as a SaaS or an appliance. So if you need something in the data center that can't be accessed from the outside, that's available to you. Or if you want software as a service, we can provide that where our system is agentless It only goes in and checks your security whenever it's needed and is then removed. When in the case of an agent-based system, which is quite different, you actually have code that resides within your virtual machine, and that could actually be compromised itself. So it actually provides you potential security risk. So agentless systems like ours are the best approach to providing cloud security. So what's the key benefits you get? So Cloud Raxak enables you to quickly move to the cloud in a secure manner. Now you can actually determine where your workloads should be run in the best cost-effective secure environment. Now security is taken care of, it's automated, so you don't have to worry about that part. So now you move your workloads where they need to be to maximize your CapEx and OpEx expenditures. We can immediately reduce your OpEx expenditures by 40 to 60% by reducing your cloud security management costs. We can decrease your risk by providing you broad coverage by using the latest security standards because it's all automated. And then we remediate your system so it's always protected and up to date. We can provide your auditors evidence of security compliance against the latest security standards for the industry and for the government. And we can accelerate your innovation by enabling your DevOps to automatically attach security to the virtual machine they're developing in and keep it protected through its life cycle. I mentioned earlier about hardware share compliance. Again, you can maintain compliance with geolocation tagging and workload requirements. So if you're a bank and you can only have your data reside in a specific state or specific country, we can make sure that integrity is maintained and provide auditors compliance reports that prove that. I want to thank you for attending the webinar today on how to automate security compliance on Rackspace. Please check cloudraxak.com/resources for more information on our solutions for other cloud platforms or details on how our system works. Thanks for your time today. Have a great day.